How to boost energy levels. Today, we're going to show you exactly how to get that extra 20% from your energy with all of these natural tips that I'm going to go through with you today. This is something we get asked on a regular basis by our clients every single day in the clinic, and we're more than happy to give some advice on how to boost energy levels. Now, with that being said, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm a chiropractor, so we help with back pain and neck pain. So if you are struggling with something more sinister, then always seek professional help. And if you come to us with a problem and we think we cannot help, then obviously we'll make the appropriate referral to someone who is better qualified. So my name is Dr. Jeremy Andrews. I'm a doctor of chiropractic here at West Chiropractic in Surrey, and we help people with chronic lower back pain and knee pain avoid a life of painkillers and risky surgery. So let's get into it. So I'm going to go through my top tips on how you can boost your energy levels very simply and, more importantly, naturally. You may have started taking some of those energy supplements that are filled with sugar and you have a great high for around an hour or 2 hours, and then a horrible crash for the next 4 hours. Drinking Red Bull or Monster or lots of caffeine can provide a lot of energy, but then you have a horrible crash on the other side. Not to mention the fact that those supplements are not good for your body in the long term. They're filled with additives and horrible chemicals that have lots of side effects on other parts of the body. So, how to boost your energy level naturally? Number one, first tip is go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time every single night. Yes, that's right, even on a Friday and a Saturday night. So if you are an early riser, then it's really important to get at least 7 to 8 hours sleep every single night. The sleep studies out there, undeniably true for having good rest. This is going to allow your energy to be sustained throughout the day and making sure that you're able to be productive for the day as well. So for example, I am an early riser, so I wake up at 5 o'clock. I need to make sure I'm in bed at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I try and do a bit of reading before bed. I'm not using my screen. There's a lot of research out there about blue light and how that also interrupts your sleep. So make sure that you're getting a good 7 to 8 hours minimum of sleep every single night. So in bed, 9 o'clock, getting up at 5. Now, this is a bit extreme. This has kind of been conditioned into my body for a long time. I used to do a paper round before school, so I was always getting up early, and then I did a lot of triathlon training, and that's always done really early in the morning. So I'd be up at 5 and then on a bike at 5:30 or in the swimming pool at 5:30, 6 o'clock. So that's kind of been conditioned. Now, I know that's not normal, but if you are waking up at 6 o'clock, it's important to be in bed by 10, bit of reading, let the mind relax, have a good sleep, get yourself up at the same time every single day. Now, a lot of people ask, well, what happens on a Friday and a Saturday? I like to go out on Friday, go to see some friends, I like to go out to the pub, I like to do all these things. Well, of course, I'm not going to say you need to be in bed by 10 o'clock on a Friday night or a Saturday night, but try and, as much as you can, be consistent with this every single time. So it may be that, say for example, last Friday we went out with some friends for a dinner and we got back at, I think it was 11:30, so in bed at 12. I tried to make sure I was up by 6 o'clock. So that waking up time is consistent the whole time. So it allows your rhythm to then get set and your body then to function through the day. Now, I got tired around lunchtime, so I gave myself a half an hour nap to recharge for the rest of the day. But that consistent wake up time is also important as well, and your body can then catch up the next night. It's the back-to-back late nights and it's the back-to-back interruptions and inconsistencies in sleep and wake up time that are going to have a knock-on effect. So if you have one night off or you have 2 nights off, that's okay, but making sure you get back on track with the habit. Number 2 is going to be limiting the amount of sugar that you have. So we've done a lot of research now with Michael Mosley and Tim Spector, the glucose goddess. They're saying that actually fat is not the enemy anymore as it was portrayed in the 80s and 90s. Glucose is the enemy. So glucose is in sweets, it's sugar, it's also in your starchy carbs like your white potatoes, rice, pasta and bread. So when we have a sandwich, for example, the starch will essentially spike our glucose levels, and then what we have is a high for around an hour and we have that afternoon drag. So if you're having a sandwich for lunch or a bowl of pasta for lunch or a pizza for lunch, you probably feel good for about an hour until your body starts processing that glucose into glycogen and we get that low surge at the end, and then you have to have that low afternoon slump around 2-3 o'clock where you think, oh, I'm so tired, I need to sleep. Well, that's because you're having too much starch and glucose. So it's really important that we try and limit the amount of sugar that you're having, because if you're having that sort of pizza at lunch, times get to 3 o'clock, you think, oh, I need some sugar to pick me up again. A bag Haribo or a chocolate bar, and the whole cycle just spirals out of control. So it's really important to limit the sugar. So what could you have instead? Well, Tim Spector, he talks about having your vegetables with some protein and then a handful of light starch afterwards. So it's very important you eat the vegetables first to line the gut, to limit that glucose spike is what he says. So you might have something like some steamed broccoli with some asparagus and some spinach, with a fillet of salmon with some brown rice on the side, making sure you eat the brown rice last, and then you might have some yogurt for dessert. That would be an example of a low glucose lunch. And number 3, make sure you're limiting caffeine. So caffeine is going to cause spikes and troughs in your energy levels. It's super important you don't have caffeine after 12 o'clock, and also you're not having caffeine in the first 2 hours of waking in the morning. I know you're thinking, what? That's exactly when I need my caffeine. But actually, when you wake up in the morning between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, that is when cortisol is at its highest. So cortisol is the stress hormone in your body. Cortisol wakes everything up, it's fight, flight, it gets everything going. So if you have caffeine, what it's going to do is, essentially you've already got this high buzz cortisol, and that's getting everything moving, it's getting your digestive system working, it's getting you ready for the day, and any caffeine you have then, it's just going to be piled on top of that cortisol, and it's going to have a very minimal effect on the rest of your body. So you're much better waiting until your cortisol starts to drop off around about 2 hours after waking, having that caffeine hit, and that's going to keep you going for another 2-3 hours before you have that slump around about mid-morning. So make sure you're having it, if it were me, so I get up at 5 o'clock, I'll be having my caffeine around 7 o'clock, and that's going to carry me through hopefully to around sort of 9, 10, 11 o'clock, and then you're having some sort of mid-morning snack, which might be a handful of nuts, and then having the Tim Spector lunch, which we talked about, the Mediterranean diet lunch with vegetables, protein, and a small amount of starch. Using Headspace. Headspace is an app that we use for mindfulness. So it's really important that in parts of the day you're taking stock of where your brain is, making sure that we're resting our brain. Now, this sounds counterproductive if we're trying to save energy and improve our energy levels. Why are we resting? Surely there's going to be other ways that we can do to improve energy. Well, Headspace is great at calming the mind. It allows the body to start processing, recharge the batteries is what we're trying to think of here. Allow the body just to settle down, allow the brain to settle down, your mind to not think about anything, the mind not to think about anything, and then concentrate on your breathing. Think about what you're grateful for as well is really important. It allows the body to take stock and recharge so you can get going. And then you might have seen the crazy Dutchman, Wim Hof. So Wim Hof advocates ice baths. So ice baths or cold water is a great way to reshock the body, change the state of the body as well, and can sort of kickstart and recharge your body, especially if you're doing it either first thing in the morning or you might want to do it on your afternoon slump. If you're feeling a bit tired, having that shock of cold water helps to kickstart the body and improve your energy levels as well. So there's a lot of research around having cold water therapy, especially in cold water baths. You're staying in the cold water bath for at least a minute every single day. It's changing the configuration of the body, it's improving the energy systems, and it can help to improve the energy levels. So for more information on that, go and check out Wim Hof, Crazy Dutchman, the Iceman, amazing stuff for ice bath therapy. Okay, so there we have it. Those are my tips to give you some more energy naturally. You can grab copies of my best-selling books here, The Secret Cure to Back Pain, How to Avoid a Lifetime of Painkillers and Surgery, and How to Transform Your Back. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of our regular content, then please subscribe to the channel for the regular updates. Thanks a lot. See you next time.